All right, and welcome back to another episode of the Jimmy T Podcast. We are back in the studio this week. We're going to experiment with a fun little setup this week, and to be with me this week, and hopefully from here on out, introducing Brandon.
How's everybody doing today? Like you said, I'm Brandon. Really excited to talk UCF.
Yeah, we're gonna get at it today. And one thing I wanted to talk about is last night went to the Memphis game.
We went to the UCF game.
UCF Memphis game. Sorry. I was walking in. I was ready to watch the game and then come in today. I was ready to stick a fork in the basketball team because 4 straight was not having it because it's not good. It's February now.
That's season ending.
Yeah, I know. It's ruining because even we did post a video, check it out, about March Madness for or potentially NIT to get into for March and to have postseason play. Losing 4 straight at the end of January.
It really doesn't cut it.
No, it's not going to cut it. But they did they bucked the trend of losing and they stopped it and actually pick up their first win against Memphis in 5 years. I didn't realize that.
5?
Yes.
Oh wow.
Like it's been a while since we beat Memphis, and I guess the last time in the UCF, one of the sports accounts or somewhere on Twitter, posted that they stormed the court the last time we beat Memphis.
Well, that didn't happen last night.
No, because it was a healthy number overall for CFE Arena, but it wasn't anything to go crazy over.
Yeah. I was really surprised at how many people were there for a Saturday game.
Yeah, it was a good time, and I think when I was there with Leland, I was kind of like. What was affecting people not going? Because if it was NFL awards ceremony, that happened later in the evening. Like we were out the door by 7:30. It was a decently fast game, and no one was there. But I mean, it is what it is. I mean, because it doesn't help because 4 straight losses. That's hard, and especially one of those was a game against SMU at home, which was a huge game in this past 4-game stretch that they needed to pick up, and they just didn't pick it up. But this Memphis game was good.
Good game. I thought it was just a very dominant performance by UCF. We didn't have a huge win. Wasn't like an overwhelming win, but we were just the clear better team the whole game.
It was comfortable, and one of the people that helped make it comfortable to start off that dominant run at the beginning of the game was Matt Williams. He was fantastic, and he has continued to be probably the best player on the team for the Knights.
No, I definitely agree. He literally can shoot from anywhere.
Yeah, and I was calling it from the crowd for him just to shoot more. Get him the ball because I personally, it surprises me every time because I watched him last year and he seemed fine. Like he made some plays here and there, but it just was like, I don't know. I didn't see that he was going to have so many dominant performances shooting that he has had this year. He's even made SportsCenter a handful of times. And
seems like something just clicked this season.
Yeah,
don't know what it is, but it happened.
I mean, because I think I remember hearing that Coach Dawkins was like, shoot more, like just shoot. And he's taken that to heart, and it's been a big part because the shooting game is a weakness for the Knights, shooting from distance. Because when you have players like Taco, who did do well last night also, that it just when you're not shooting, it's hard to beat a lot of teams.
Exactly. We can BJ Taylor can always drive to the hoop. Taco's always there.
Yep.
But to get a presence in the outside is very important, and Matt Williams stepping up this year has made a huge impact.
And another name that I wanted to bring up was AJ Davis. He's a person who has to continue to step up, especially in that shooting department, to kind of take some shots that aren't the best and kind of try to get some open looks at the beginning of the game to continue, because a big part of the second half was that for about a 2 to 3 minute stretch, he took over the game.
Yeah.
And it was a big thing that it was a casual, like 8 points he picked up last night, something along those lines.
But 8 points is...
And that was huge because what it just was a nice stretch where it was about 3 possessions. He just went right down the court and just had a nice layup, a nice play. Because when the Knights had a nice lead and Memphis had a strong push coming out of halftime, and just to kind of hold that back and just kind of be like, no, just kind of keep him at bay to keep scoring, that was huge. But he's a guy that I think that they need to be more consistent.
Yeah. He was really good, especially with Memphis doing just a high court press the entire game.
God, I hate that. It's just a crappy team thing. That's all it is. Like, and we'll see it when March comes up, because we'll try and get a little more March Madness, a little talk about it on some episodes in the future. But like, it just is. You just see crappy teams do that, and I was impressed because the Knights didn't seem to fold when it started.
Yeah, they got a little flustered, but soon after that, they were just rolling with it, and it just leaves people open.
Yeah. Because and I said to Leland, I said that like the biggest way to counter a full court press is D1 athletes, and BJ Taylor proved last night he's a D1 athlete because he single-handedly made sure that we got out of the press quite often, getting himself open and making some nice passes to find wide open guys that would be down the court.
Absolutely.
No, it was very good. And one thing, because I just have to nitpick something, was free throws last night. It didn't kill the Knights because, like we said, they won comfortably. It wasn't a dominant performance. It was a dominant performance, but it could have been a lot more because
commanding.
Commanding. And I think one thing that they lacked in was free throws, and that's something down the line. Free throws are important.
They're fundamental of the game.
Yeah, because Lawson from Memphis, who I was very impressed with last night, he made all of his free throws. He got about 30 points, and he was able to comfortably do that because it was almost a free 2 points when you go to the free throw line. And it just that's something that the Knights had to take advantage of because for me, that's mental. It really is because it's not necessarily skill related like so many of these shots. Like to be like a really good outside shooter like Matt Williams, that kind of requires that where free throws are just mental practice. That at least from what I've heard and what I see, and that's something I think they could improve in.
Absolutely. I was really noticing of Memphis just every single time they made almost all their free throws, all of them.
Yeah.
And it really adds up at the end of the game.
And because a coach like Tubby Smith, I love saying that name, by the way, Tubby Smith.
Tubby Smith, what a guy.
I know, and it makes you sound like you're just saying it like, yeah, come on, Tubby, like you're just making fun of him. But it's like, no, that's his name. And he's actually, I didn't realize this outside of this year, an incredibly successful head coach.
Oh, yeah.
Like well over 700 career wins, like, and just a little over 200 and some change losses. That's impressive. I was like, wow, like I didn't realize that. Yeah, he's just at Memphis. Like, I mean, whatever, right? But it was a good time for the game, especially. You need to get more people out there. And then one thing just before we close out basketball was foul trouble was a big issue last night, both sides.
Yeah.
But I mean, we only care about the Knights. So, and is saying that what I have here in my notes is talking about just kind of how it could add up over games because when guys like Taco, Matt Williams, BJ Taylor, AJ Davis, who's going to go in for those guys once they foul out?
Exactly. There's not a depth issue, but you just can't be having them foul out. That anybody fouled out. And,
no.
I don't think anybody was in too much trouble. Maybe
Taco was at 4, AJ Davis was at 4, and I think Matt Williams was at 4 to end the game. So
cutting it a little close.
Yeah, I was cutting it a little close. I mean, because if you average it out, if it's last minute or so, and you have 4, if it's not too tight of a game, I mean, it's fine. But it just was something that I started to notice, and it's like if Matt goes out or Taco goes out, because that's how you get people taken out of the game. Because Coach Dawkins has got to be smart about it. If I see Taco has four fouls and it's 5 minutes left in the game, I want him for the end of the game, so I'm going to have him sit for a little bit. And that's something that they just have to be a little bit more cognizant about. That was a good word. Cognizant about going forward when playing. What do you think?
I think that they definitely get in a little bit of foul trouble early, and they just need to be more wary of that because when you're playing better teams, like we're playing UConn next week, Cincinnati on Wednesday.
Yeah, Cincinnati on Wednesday.
You just can't have your best players, and losing them for
they need
4 or 5 minutes could make a huge difference.
Your best players have to be on the court.
Especially when somebody like BJ Taylor plays almost the entire game.
Yes.
Losing him just because of something like foul trouble, you just can't have it.
Yeah. All right. And then before we fully close the book on basketball today, from here on out, I don't know if that win changed much for the Knights for their March hopes for any kind of postseason play. But I think what it did is that if they're able to just have a nice, strong finish, there's about 6 games left. If they're able to pick up majority of those, I think to get as close to 20 as possible from 15 wins here. So if they're able to get 5 to get to 20, I think that makes it a successful year, and it might get you to the NIT. But I think even if not, I think to have a nice, successful stretch against some good teams and then pick up the gimme on USF at the end, I think that if they're able to do that, I think that could make the year a success under a new head coach and Coach Dawkins.
Yeah, I would definitely like to see that. Dawkins has done a great job.
He has.
We got a little unlucky with this recent run, but I think that finishing strong is really important, especially for the fans.
Yep.
Just to get everybody excited and because a lot more people have been coming out to the games this year. So if we just continue that building.
And if you're able to have that successful stretch, it's going to get the attendance.
Exactly. So, and then that just helps with recruiting for basketball. If they see like, oh, UCF's a winning team.
Yep.
Because I know we had some problems when football finished kind of poorly. They took a hit on.
Yeah, they thought it would do that, and that's something we'll actually get into. We'll talk about recruiting in a second, but yeah, no, it was something that I think if they're able to have a nice finish, and I think that can start off by handing Cincinnati their first American loss on Wednesday. We'll see. It'll be something to look for as we continue on. But big thing that happened this past week was National Signing Day.
Best holiday of the year.
Oh, especially for college football fans, it is Christmas because you're unpackaging and finding out what your teams are going to have. And UCF did pretty well.
I'm happy.
Oh, I was very happy. They initially, we'll kind of talk about the timeline of events to kind of break it down a little bit. Was that initially after the first day, I believe it was Wednesday. Yes, it was Wednesday. UCF finished with second in the American. I think Memphis was actually over them because Memphis had more recruits, but UCF was rated better with the amount they had. And they did pretty well. They brought in some quarterbacks. Quarterback I will have been told to look at by some of my buddies was Dariel Mack Jr., 6'3", like 215, pretty decent sized guy coming out of high school. And that's someone that hopefully can usurp Milton pretty soon. But those were guys, and there were a lot of other studs. But the biggest change was Thursday morning, if you want to take that one.
Oh, Thursday morning. Woke up to some really good news.
Yes.
We got our first 4-star recruit.
Yep.
So he's a running back. He switched from Arkansas.
He switched from Maryland.
Maryland.
Yes, because he actually put out a video. Because it was funny because Leland brought this up, but he actually ended up being one of our guys. Was that he put out this video where he like launched a drone into space, like these weird videos. I'm just going to stop this real quick. I don't like National Signing Day, like how they've made it like that he's going to sign with some, like he's like, I'm going to the Cardinals, the Arizona Cardinals, like I'm signing with them. Like no one cares. You're a high school kid. You have just as likely of a chance of like, just say to me, because I'm not going to put that on any player. I have just as likely of a chance of going out and blowing my knee on the first day of practice and never playing again. And then there's guys making these fancy videos of them running through their city like to show like this stupid shit.
I love it.
I don't. I really don't. I think it's dumb because it's like, I don't know, like you're 18. Like, and
hey man, Bleacher Report's got something.
But that's the thing is that it's not necessarily their fault because they're getting publicity off of this. And I mean, I get it. Like, do it if you can. I don't like it.
I loved the last year the Penn State kicker getting off the plane.
What? A kicker getting off a plane? Oh,
it was a kicker. He owned it.
I hate that. But to get back on topic, we're talking about these videos was Richardson there. Aryan Richardson is the name.
Yeah.
He showed a video of him launching a drone and or something into space, and it showed like all the different teams. He got to choose between Notre Dame, Ole Miss, Oklahoma, and Maryland. He picked Maryland. And then Thursday morning, as you just said, he switched to UCF. I'm not going to complain because like we said that we were going to do the timeline of events, that pushed UCF up into number 1 in the American in recruiting.
Exactly. So I think we definitely had a lot better season this year, and it's going to help so much to have all these recruits.
You just get one guy. You get one guy to switch and go over, and that's going to change a lot.
Especially in conference play.
Yes.
I think we have a good chance of just dominating.
Yes. And one school that I've mentioned in the past that is a good model for UCF in football is USF because their coach, Willie Taggart, is amazing at recruiting. And then they replace him with another strong recruiter, maybe even a little bit better in Coach Strong. And that's something that what USF would do is they'd get a couple guys. You get a Marlon Mack. You get, even though he can't throw to save his life, you get a Quentin Flowers. You just get a couple of those guys that are high like ranked recruits. You just get a couple. And then all of a sudden, it's going to open the door for more to come. And I think that that's something to look at towards the future. That's something that'll be big for them. It's just to get that one person to come over.
You just need one impact player and just show hey, UCF can compete.
Yep.
I can make a difference there.
And impact he is at 6'240". No, thank you.
Oh, I watched his highlight video. He just barrels over
Oh
people.
yeah, he just was punishing high school kids. It was awesome to watch. And then they showed him taking back punts. I was like, what? This dude takes back punts?
He can do everything. Him running at you, oh, that's gonna scare some kids.
Yes, and I know we get excited over number 1 in the American Athletic Conference for recruiting, but is that good though? Is my question. Like, is what does that mean? Because I've been asked about that, kind of like, because a lot of people are like, well, it's number 1 in the American. What do you think?
I think that, yeah, we're not the Big Ten.
Yeah,
we're not the Pac-12. But at the end of the day, conference play is so important, and if you can get some of the best recruits, and we did do the best.
Oh yeah,
by far, especially with Cardarian pushing us over. I think just with those players, we can just dominate the conference, and that will turn some heads.
Oh, I think so.
UCF going from 0-12 this year, we almost had a winning season.
Yep.
Next year,
oh no, I kind of see it from the point that I agree with you that it's like, what are you expecting? I mean, we're trying to be like the big boys, and you got to get these good recruits, and you got to stock up a good foundation to have success, and that's how you get more to come over when you see success, and you're like, wow, like they can take these guys who are nowhere near as good as I am, and they're able to make them pretty good. What could they do with me? Like that is a genuine recruiting tactic to kind of look at that. And so whether or not it matters, whether or not it's good, like did we compete with Florida State, Alabama, Ohio State, whatever, I don't care about that. But I think that the main thing we're competing for next year is an American Athletic Conference title. And the fact that we had the best recruits out of our conference, that's good enough for me.
And one common thread that I saw with a lot of the recruits that I was really happy with and really impressed with is a lot of them cited their reason for picking UCF is the coaches. They just felt comfortable with the coaches and just really like their style, which I think is big because you could have great players, but if you don't have good coaching staff and if they don't respect the coaches, then they're just not going to do anything good.
No, and that's the thing and that's something that I think I've mentioned before that's very valuable about Coach Frost is that he brings that to the table. Because, I mean, yeah, you get X's and O's. That's important, too, from a coach to bring. But in the college game, coach is the mayor of all this, and he brings everything. He controls everything. I mean, you look at your Urban Meyers, your Nick Sabans. That's what Coach Frost is for us. And if he's able to do that on his own scale and bring a lot of good guys in to keep putting good into our program,
that'll just build the program and just make it.
And it's something that if we're able to build up the American, if that's even possible for a Power 6. But I mean that's a feature video for us to talk about. But it just is, if we're able to build up our program itself, that's a way to do it. And so that's definitely what I'm looking at. And then what I'll ask you, your favorite recruit.
Oh, my favorite recruit, honestly, it's probably going to be Cardarian.
Oh, yeah.
I don't want to, be the guy that's just picking the 4-star recruit, but he's just, I don't know, I just love the way he plays. He's real physical, and I think it's just something that UCF needs. He's a real physical running back.
As a guy that's going to be able to physically take over a game and punish people.
Exactly.
Because if he's able to come down the line and absolutely wreck a linebacker, that linebacker's not going to get back in the hole.
Mental game is just...
It's huge. And so for me, mine is 6'8", 245-pound defensive end Jeremiah Zio.
That's a big boy.
Yeah, mainly. That's my favorite thing about him. It's just massive. That's a huge man. And
that's a man.
I always gauge off of some of these guys with Richardson and now Zio. I talk about whether or not I would want to tackle or block them. And the answer is no to both of those guys because
absolutely
he looks like he's size wise. What, he puts another 15, 20 pounds. Zio does, and he NFL player, like at least size wise.
Yeah.
And then Richardson, I mean, maybe he trims down a little bit, but otherwise, what he is right now, that could go right into the NFL. And I don't want to have to tackle an NFL running back because that does not look like a good time.
Absolutely not.
Yes. Okay. I think that we're good for there. And then what we were going to do to wrap up, because this is going to come out after the Super Bowl, but I think we can still do a little more Super Bowl themed fun. And we were going to do that through a Super Bowl food and drink draft. And since I'm going to get Leland involved because he doesn't want to, but we're going to do it anyways, is he gets the first pick of the draft.
I think that's fair.
And then I will go. Well, we'll rock, paper, scissors right now. Let's do this. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Okay, well, I go last then. Okay, so Leland with the first pick in the Super Bowl food and drink draft, which to just briefly explain is we are picking. Once you take a food or drink item off the table, then you'd no longer be taken, and we're trying to create and draft our perfect party like we were drafting a football team, a soccer team, anything. And so Leland with the very first pick, go.
How about wings?
Okay, Leland takes wings.
Ooh.
That is a very solid option, sir.
Well, that was my my go-to
that was
first
your take?
round, so that's gonna be a devastating blow. I think you got to go dip and chips.
Just dip and chips.
It's a classic. It's a staple.
It is. It's a very solid
It's
option.
not the Super Bowl without dip.
That is very true. That is a legitimate choice. For me, what do I want to take? I'm going to think too much about this is what it's going to come down to. I'm going to take nachos.
Nachos.
That's what I'm going to take. Take nachos. All right, Leland, you're back up. Pizza. All right. Oh, wow, damn it.
Well, pizza is a powerhouse food, but
Pizza's
I don't feel
very-
it's a traditional Super Bowl
Yes,
food.
it's more generic in a sense. Okay, so
Twice a night.
whatever. It's fine. No,
Fair.
it's solid. You're appealing to everybody here. right.
I think I got to go with another power food. Let's go burgers.
Oh, burgers. Damn.
Take a big boy out of there.
That's pretty good. Okay, for my next one, I feel like I have to
Yeah, step it up.
add some oomph here because nachos was solid. I'm trying to think. What you know what? I'm gonna go beer. I need a drink. I need to make sure everyone is satisfied at my party, and beer is a solid way to do it. Leland, you're up now. Pepsi, just
Ooh.
Pepsi. Do you want to take soda to be a little bit more broad, and we'll just make one more pick after this round. All right.
Well, you went with soda. So I guess a drink's really important. If everybody else is doing, it's just the kick around with drinks.
I mean,
So
it's a run now. I mean, once one goes, they all
they
go.
all start going every year in fantasy. I'll go with like Gatorade. You know, it's nice.
Keep you hydrated while you sit in the
Keep you hydrated. You know, you're watching athletes, so you got to be hydrated like
It's
an
gotta
athlete.
be hydrated. Okay. Oh goodness, this is like a lot of options we're looking at here. They're off the table. I'm gonna go pulled pork.
Pulled
I'm
pork.
gonna go pulled pork.
Ooh,
Yes, I think this was a
it's
sleeper.
versatile.
This was a sleeper in this draft that a lot of people weren't knowing about. All right, Leland, your last pick for your party.
fruit tray.
A fruit tray.
Fruit tray.
Okay.
Hey, you got to be
Well,
healthy.
Yeah, I know gotta wash it down with something. Your very last pick, sir.
The last pick. Already got dip. Got drinks, burgers, something substantial.
I know what I'm doing with my last one.
You know, I'm gonna go with cookies
Cookies.
because you need something sweet.
You know what? I would like to point out that you and I were on the very same page. I'm going brownies.
Ooh.
Oh, there we go. And that wraps up our inaugural first ever Super Bowl food and drink draft. And what we'll do is I'll tweet this out and I'll also be on this episode is to tell us whose party would you want to go to. Would you want to go to Leland's where he has wings, pizza, soda, and a fruit tray, or Brandon's which is dip and chips, or chips and dip, whatever. I typed it like an idiot. Burgers, Gatorade, and cookies, or mine, which is a powerhouse of nachos, beer, pulled pork, and brownies.
Oh, you had to throw in the powerhouse.
The powerhouse, the best one of this entire group was me. But definitely, we will post this on our social media. Please let us know whose party you want to go to. And if we do any future drafts, what we'll do is the winner will get to go first, and then we'll go down the line from there. That's how we'll do this. But this has been a fun episode today.
Yeah.
What have you thought, being on here, doing this for the first time?
I love it. You know, it's great to get in here, talk about all the wonderful things UCF. Glad we had positive things to talk about with basketball.
That was good because I told you I was coming in. I was ready to say, stick a fork in them.
Yeah, so definitely glad we could do that. And National Signing Day, always just
That was good. And
always
that,
exciting.
And that's something that spring football is coming up, so that'll be another big football tent pole thing to talk
Yeah.
about, and we'll try and mix it up with what we do in the future. But I think this was a good episode today.
yeah, loved it.
All right, do you have anything you want to say before we get out of here?
Just glad for everybody watching the show, and It was great to be here.
All right. No, I had a good time. I'm glad you're here, and pick my party. So let's leave it at that. All right. This has been another episode of the Jimmy T Podcast. Don't forget to check us out on social media. All of that will be in the description. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button to get all of our content first. And this has been another episode of the Jimmy T Podcast. See you next time.